Welcome to episode 18 of Our College, Your Voices. I'm your host, Kara Monroe. In episode 3, our episode on bringing big ideas to life inside of a large system like Ivy Tech, we talked a little bit about the Student Success Summit. Today, we're going to give you a little preview of what will happen at the summit. And while we are only able to host about 600 Ivy Tech faculty and staff at the summit, we hope to use the podcast as a new way to more broadly share learning and experiences from the summit, as well as help engage in ways that, even if you can't attend, you might be able to participate in the summit. Let's meet our panel. Russ Baker. Hi again.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
You want to tell us what your role here is at the college and especially with the summit?
I am the Vice President for Academic Affairs, and for the last several years, I've coordinated the Student Success Summit.
And you have the award for the most appearances on the podcast.
I believe that's true.
Yes.
And I'm looking for a new gift.
We're going to work on that.
You can cut that out if you
No,
want
that's
to.
all right. We'll keep it in there. And Sarah DeWitt. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
We mention you in every episode. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you do with the college and the summit?
Of course, that is so kind of you to mention me. Yes, I work for Kara Monroe as her assistant, as well as the assistant of the CFO. And then for the summit, what I do for that is the last couple of years, I've just kind of been a catch-all, and I get to help in all different kinds of ways, mostly the day before and the day of. But this year, I actually get to help a little bit more with the planning process. And so I'm really excited to be part of that team.
Excellent. Welcome to you both. So when and where is the Student Success Summit and who attends?
The Student Success Summit is always in the spring, and for the last several years, it's been in French Lick. This year, it's going to be March 28th and 29th. And the people that attend are really intentionally a pretty wide swath of Ivy Tech staff and faculty. We made a change on that a couple of years ago and decided that we were going to basically empower the campuses to decide who gets on the summit bus. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of identify the types of people that we think will be most beneficial from attending this, will gain the most benefit from attending the summit, but we ultimately let the campuses make that decision. So it's definitely advisors, student affairs staff, people in the enrollment and retention areas, along with faculty, academic and student affairs administration, and a few upper administrators as well.
Can you preview a few of the ways that people will interact with one another in large groups at the Student Success Summit?
Well, I'm going to let Sarah respond to this one because every year we try to do a couple new things with the summit so that it doesn't get too predictable or stale. And this year, one of the things Sarah is kind of taking charge of planning is something we're calling the Revitalization Station. And so I'm going to let her talk about what we're seeing that becoming for us.
Yes. So this is actually an idea that was born during one of our first meetings by Kara.
Which I completely don't remember, but that's okay. I'll take credit still.
And then it was just kind of handed to me, and I wanted to run with it because I thought it sounded like a lot of fun. So basically what the Revitalization Station is going to be, it's twofold. So the first part of it is you will be able to come in to hang out with your colleagues, to have some time to think outside of the box and do things that you don't get to do all the time, such as coloring, playing with some Play-Doh maybe, doing some Legos, fun stuff like that, that'll maybe help you to think outside the box and to talk with your colleagues. The other aspect of this room is called the Idea Wall. And so we're going to have really large Post-it notes where you can either bring an idea with you to the summit, or maybe you think of your grand idea when you're at the summit, and you can just write it down on one of these large Post-it notes with a couple of different bullet points. And then you can go ahead and write your information down and a time that you will come back to speak about it. If you don't want to come back and speak about it, that's perfectly fine as well. You can just write down your email address so that somebody who is perusing through this room and relaxing and looking at these ideas can get a hold of you.
And then as far as the keynote and plenary sessions, our first plenary session this year is going to be a presentation from Dr. Greg Williams. He is the president at Odessa College. And as several people know, some of the ideas that we've been working with at Ivy Tech in the last year or so have been ideas that were gathered from a group of our team that went down to Odessa back in April of last year. So we're really happy to have Dr. Williams coming as our keynote speaker on Thursday. On Friday morning, our keynote speaker is going to be Dr. Mary Murphy, and she's from Indiana University, just down the road in Bloomington. Dr. Murphy is coming to talk specifically about growth mindset, which is something that's been a point of emphasis at Ivy Tech for the last couple of years.
It's part of strategy 1.2 in our strategic plan as well.
That's right.
Good.
So those are the two plenary speakers. And then right after our plenary session on Thursday afternoon, we're going to have a panel presentation with Dr. Williams, who is the plenary speaker, of course, and he'll be joined by Teresa Lubbers from the Commission for Higher Education. And we are planning on having the provost from Amarillo Community College join us as well. And then Dr. Elsperman, our president, is going to moderate the panel. So we're excited about that. It'll just focus around student success initiatives that have been successful at those colleges. And we're always trying to learn what works for other colleges and see what might work for us.
Great. Now, I know what breakout session I'm most looking forward to at the Student Success Summit, and that is the podcast listener meetup that Ann and I will be doing. But I know there are going to be some other great sessions at the summit. Can you talk a little bit about what the lineup of breakout sessions looks like?
Absolutely. There will be 8 different rooms that participants can choose to go to at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and 12 o'clock. So there are 4 time slots. And even though yours is obviously going to be very popular, they will have other options. And we kind of try to track the different presentations. So if people are specifically interested in advising, that will be one of our tracks. And they can pretty much stay in the same room and hear 4 different successive presentations that have something to do with advising. The same thing will be true with student success initiatives. We actually have 2 different rooms devoted to student success initiatives of various kinds. There's going to be a room devoted to 8-week courses and 8-week effective teaching techniques, those kinds of discussions. One of the rooms will focus on successful pedagogy, things that different faculty are doing in their classrooms that are innovative and that seem to be helping with student success. And then there will be another area about enrollment. So retention initiatives. Again, we think a lot of people will probably try to deliberately mix and match the types of presentations they attend, but we have it tracked so that people can hopefully easily see what the themes are with the different presentation rooms.
Great. What else is planned for the summit?
Well, people who have gone to a summit before will recognize some of the familiar things that we do, such as on Thursday night, we have a nice dinner and recognize the Lambkin Award winners from each campus. Those are the adjunct faculty person from each campus that have been identified as their outstanding adjunct. Mm-hmm. We bring them all to French Lick and then identify one of them as a statewide winner. Academic advising also has award winners that are recognized that night. So we'll be doing that again. There will be a area outside of the main ballroom where we have all of our plenary sessions, where there will be vendors. We do have sponsors. We've done this for several years. You were very involved, Kara, in getting that started a few years ago, where we've invited, if they're willing to pay to play, we invite vendors to come in and basically be able to demonstrate whether it's a publisher with textbooks, or we have educational institutions that now come in, a variety of different businesses that come and just want to have the opportunity to interact with our staff and faculty and show various products that they think we might be interested in. So those will all be part of it. But maybe the most exciting part of the summit, I think, that can't really be identified as part of a presentation or a session is just the interaction that takes place between 600 different people, all who have in common the fact that they work at Ivy Tech. And that's, I think, one of the greatest benefits of the summit every year. We see people, hanging out together, whether it's on Thursday evening after the events are over, and we do deliberately try to give people a little bit of time to have some fun together. But even during the rest of the summit, we see lots of people meeting together and having conversations, and some of them, look like they're pretty intense. Some of them are just informal, greeting and getting together. But those are all valuable, and I think that's been one of the most perhaps unintended benefits of the event, is just to provide that kind of space for those conversations.
I really like that we do that at the summit. We get to provide that extra space. And this year we get to do it a little bit more with the Revitalization Station, and just really help people understand that that is a big reason why we have the summit, is to have that time with our colleagues. One thing I wanted to touch on with the idea wall is that if you happen to have an idea, but you cannot attend the summit, you can always submit those to Twitter using the summit hashtag ITCC Summit 19, or you can call in and leave us a voicemail and we'll get those added to the wall.
Every episode ends with a call to action. Send us your ideas for the idea wall on Twitter. Use the hashtag ITCC Summit 19, or send us a question you'd like to hear answered by summit participants. It might get included in one of our wrap-up episodes following the summit, because we will be recording a lot of audio while we're at the summit. Just another shameless plug. Sarah, you're trying to help us order some swag for our session.
Yes.
So there might be gifts if you come to our session as well. I am not above bribery. Thank you again for joining episode 18 of Our College, Your Voices. I want to thank the members of today's panel, Russ Baker, who is the Vice President for Academic Affairs and also has the responsibility of chairing the summit. Thanks, Russ. And Sarah DeWitt, who has the, I don't know if it's unfortunate or fortunate, opportunity to work as my executive assistant along with our CFO. Sarah, thank you for joining us today. I am your host, Kara Monroe. You can connect with me on Twitter at KNMTweets. Our producer is Ann Valentine. Ann is on Twitter at IndyPenny. You can reach us by email at ourcollegeyourvoices@ivtech.edu. Leave us a voicemail at 317-572-5049. Ask a question for the upcoming summit, and don't forget about our upcoming 25th episode, which will release on March 14th. We'd love to answer your question. Use your story or a shout out to a colleague for that very special episode. Our website is ivtech.edu/podcast. It's maintained by Tracy Allen. Production assistance is provided by Becky Campbell, the incredible Sarah DeWitt. Sarah, thanks again for joining us today. And our Ivy Tech Community College marketing team. Podcast concept is by Matthew Pittman. Theme music, recording, and post-production services are provided by Jen Eads at the Brassy Broadcasting Company, who guides us through all crazy trucks driving by the building. We will see you next time on Our College, Your Voices.